Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of the New Jack Swing podcast. Stevie, how you doing?
Good evening, sir. Good to see you again. Good to see you all out there.
Yes,
Been a few weeks now since we've been live.
yes, it has been, and yes, I mean at least this was it's definitely going to be good and good that we're going to have Jackie McGee joining us to go through this
Oh,
iconic
really?
album. Yes, yeah, she's no, she was, you know, well, this came out in what, yeah, 89.
Yes.
Yeah. So at this time, she had only done "Make It Last Forever," so she was, she was in this real stuff. So she's gonna have a lot to say about this album. But anyway, but before we get there, how has been any big music news for you?
There is one thing, and I've got it in my hand here. Can we do a live unboxing?
Okay, go ahead.
I'm really excited about this that came through the mail, and it's something that everyone that's watching this evening will want to get their hands on. And I
Okay.
promise you, it's readily available as well. It is readily available. So let me see if I can open the damn thing first. Here we go. Maybe I should have partially opened this before I started.
So even Hulk Hogan tears his shirt before he tries to rip it off.
Yeah, but I've got a big shout out. Action Records in Preston, which does mail order.
Welcome, Damien.
Nearly there. Ugh.
Okay.
I've not really professional unboxings like you see on the old YouTube channels, but it's worth the wait. This.
Last exit to Bricklin, welcome.
Here we go.
Oh, okay. So what is
Can you
this?
see that?
Yes, we see three girls. Miss, I can't see what's it say because
It says New Jill Swing, 1988 to 1994. It's a brand new double LP compilation on a UK label called Ace Records, compiled by Bob Stanley. I think it's. Let me just double check that. Yeah, Bob Stanley, who's in. I think he's from the group Saint Etienne. So he's compiled this. Also, it's on vinyl. Make sure my CDs here. Ah, yeah. It's also I got a CD as well. It's on CD. There is 18 tracks on it. And I know a lot of you've got New Jack Swing compilations. A lot of them have the same track list. Belle Biv DeVoe Poison, Rex and Effects, New Jack Swing, Johnny Kemp Just Got Paid, Johnny Gill. It's always the same track list over and over again. But this track list is amazing. I mean, he's dug deep on here. He's got Ex-Girlfriends on here, Jasmine Guy, The Good Girls, Tara Kemp, Joyce Irby, Mickey Howard, Tracy Spencer, Moni Love, Shantae Savage, Keisha Jackson, Escape, Nutty Nice, Pebbles, Karen White. I mean, you could tag a lot of your friends on this, Namdi.
my goodness.
But this is
But
come out last week, literally last week.
Okay.
So
Okay.
obviously this is the big New Jack Swing purchase to get this year. Support it.
But is it anything new though, or is it the same songs?
No, it's all stuff that obviously came out between 88 and 94.
Okay.
But they're all, solid album tracks that some of you may have missed. I know the ones that collect this stuff, like me, hardcore, will probably have all this stuff already. But
Okay.
if you're a casual New Jack Swing listener and you want to get a few compilations, and it's all. I mean, this is the first of its kind. New Jack, and now there's a New Jill Swing. So it's the first of its kind, this. And look at that cover. That's the
nice.
Good Girls, isn't it? It's the Good Girls, that.
Oh yeah.
Before.
Joyce, Joyce, what's her name? Talbot.
Take your pick, folks. Get a CD, get a vinyl. I got this. How much was this on vinyl? It was £22. So.
Hey, guess who's here, Stevie?
Hi, Jackie. You're right.
Hey guys, How are you?
Yeah, we're doing good. Hey, Derek.
I've missed you,
Okay.
Jackie.
Hi, Stevie.
I've missed you,
You
Jackie.
doing?
It's all right.
I know. I haven't seen you in a long time. Oh my goodness.
I like your hat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is that
We
something?
we
Is that something you used to wear on tour in about 1989 or something?
I wore hats all the time. That's my thing. Hats is my thing. It didn't matter if it was an Applejack or a top hat or one of these. I just like hats. That's my
Wow.
thing.
Yeah, Jackie's
Yeah.
been doing a number of shows, which has been I've been seeing. How's that been? Just being back on stage and performing.
You know what? It's fun. I miss it, and I can't wait to have my band. Because when I have my band, that's when I'm really gonna act a whole fool. But yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun. Seeing people that you haven't seen in a long time. And in R&B, like in the States, a lot of us, especially from the '90s, um, we all stuck together like family. So when we see all the people we know, that's why I can't wait to really go on tour so I can really see all of my people. Because I think I might know almost everybody from the '90s. Almost everybody.
But has it been nerve-wracking being on stage and performing? Because I've been seeing the rehearsals. I mean, you did a gala, you did other shows. I mean, each show is it becoming a lot easier as you sing and getting out the nerves.
Um, yeah, it got easier. I had a show on the 3rd of October, but I was in Atlanta recording and had all kind of drama with my car, so I didn't end up doing the show.
Oh,
But it was okay because it wasn't like no crazy paid show or anything like that. It was just something I was doing so we could get footage. Um, is with a comedian, so I'm sad I didn't get to do it, but at the same time I was in the studio because I'm working on wrapping up my EP. So
okay,
I needed to put have some more songs to put on the EP.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. I know a lot of people have come in to as we celebrate the Rhythm Nation album. But before we do that, it'd be always good just to get a roundup of any music news over the past week. Um, anything, Stevie? Any music news that you think of? Anything new that's out?
There's a Victoria Monet deluxe edition that's been released with about 5 extra tracks, and there's a track on it called 1990s. So you want to check that out.
Okay, okay.
That's pretty interesting. Well, yeah, that's the big news this week. This compilation doesn't have Jackie McGee on it. It should be on here. New Jill Swing, 1988 to 1994.
Wow.
What about you, Jackie? Any? I mean, both Stevie and I haven't been on IG for a long time. But any music news? Anything that's the fans should
I'm
hear
trying.
about?
I'm trying to think. I'm like, who's coming out with something? Because when I'm on there, I'm always I post crazy stuff. So, I'm trying to think who came out with something that I was like,
Have you
okay,
heard of?
because I know
Have you
that
heard of
like
Lucky Day?
Layla, huh?
Have you heard of an artist called Lucky Day?
Lucky Day. Yes, yes.
I've only just catching up with his new album, Algorithm. That is amazing, incredible
Oh,
album.
really?
Yes, it's
Wow.
up there. It's up there with Maxwell D'Angelo from the 90s. It's a very, very strong album. Really strong.
Oh, wow.
It's got its own sound. It's a lot of live band playing in it. It's just a really good listen.
Oh, yeah, I got to check that out.
Definitely.
Yeah, I got to check that out.
Okay.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are working on music. I do know a lot of artists that are working on music, like Dave Hollister, and I know Troop is working on something new. Ruffins put out. They re-released another song that I like a lot. If y'all go to Ruffins, the official Ruffins page, you'll see
Oh, check that
they
out.
posted like a video from a song that they did that was on like a soundtrack, but they re-released it. That song is beautiful. I love the song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think yeah, and I guess just finally, I guess there's still. I saw you gave a very positive sort of message around, and when Diddy got arrested, we also gave a very neutral message about look, there is everyone's throwing stones, everyone's throwing stones without thinking about what's in your closet, and it's the kind of stuff that I never like to see. I mean, I admired him as what he did when he was on point with Uptown and the whole Bad Boy stuff, and it's a disappointment what's happening now. I have no idea, but it is strange. Everyone's coming out and throwing stones, and then they're going to hide back, and when stuff comes out, so there is that thing about if be careful what you do because you don't know when you're next. And so I just hope everyone just he's innocent to proven guilty, whatever it is. And but for R&B music and for what it represented and what he contributed, it's a disappointment that's what's going on. But it's a wait and see.
What I have to say for that is because I know Sean. He wanted to A&R my record, and because I was on MTA, and Uptown was part of MTA, Universal, and he wanted to do my record, and Al Teller told him no. Al Teller was the president of the label. He told him no, can't mess with Jackie's, stuff. They wouldn't let nobody mess with me. Why, I don't know, but now I do. I'll say this. No, we shouldn't be throwing stones because nobody was speaking up until, one person spoke up and then the door was open, right? So where were y'all, when you should have been speaking up? That's what I will say. The other thing is it's bigger than Puffy. You know what I'm saying? It's bigger than Sean. It's bigger than a lot of people. That's the forefront of R&B and hip hop. Is bigger than them. I will say that. People that are in the industry that had big music deals know the truth, and they know what's behind all of that. And bottom line is, you sow a bad seed, you reap a bad harvest. So we have choice. I put it that way. We have choice to say yes or no. A lot of artists chase money, and with that money comes, the evil. So it's either you're gonna serve the Most High and be satisfied with what you get. Your little coins, go on your little vacations, do you, mind your business, take care of your family, have a little something when you die for your kids. Or you're gonna chase the big money. That's a whole different life, So people that have so much to say, and I say it from a sinful standpoint, we've done a lot in our lives. Who are we to say anything? If your house ain't in order, you don't have your stuff together, then you can't say something about somebody else, that whatever's coming out. So that's all I say,
Okay.
What are your thoughts on Miss Jaguar Wright? Because I've been guilty this week, or the last couple of weeks, of going down YouTube Puffy rabbit hole. And
Steve.
We're getting Jaguar Wright coming out. I mean, she's been saying things for a while, and I've watched a few things that she said. I don't know whether to believe her or not, but she seems to know everything. And I'm like, how does she know all this?
I mean, I don't know because I don't really, know who she is.
Well, she's a former MCA recording artist. I thought you may have crossed paths with her at some point.
What's her name? What was her name?
Right.
Jaguar Wright.
What is it? Oh, Jaguar.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. Jaguar knows a lot because of the life that she led, and she says that. You know, she saw a lot of the dark parts because she was in it. You know, a lot of the other stuff, basically, because she knows a lot. People are also, you know, she's paying people to also speak up, and she says it. So the thing with her, I'm trying to figure out who's protecting her because a lot of stuff that she's saying, you know, allegedly,
It's like you say, serious repercussions for her.
you're right. And I can't say that a lot of it is a lie because I don't know. I wasn't there. You know, I'm not going to say it happened, but because I wasn't there, I do know that there's parties, there's back rooms, you know, there's the party when it's over and the other parties. Yeah, I do know that. And I also know if you're going to sell yourself out, you got to do certain things, you know. So that's your choice. Everybody has choice. So you have a choice to go in that back room. You know what I'm saying? You have a choice to open up. It's like if you know the dark web, the how to get on the dark web, which I have no idea. But if you know how to get on the dark web, you want to go on the dark web, you're going to see a whole bunch of things on the dark web, right? That you don't want to see. And you'll be like, oh my gosh, because you opened up this can of worms because you were being nosy and you wanted to go see what was in there. There's a lot of artists that wanted to be famous. So, you know, you have to sell yourself out to be famous. That's something I wouldn't do. I didn't want to do that. So when people say, why am I not so big and why am I not? Because I didn't want to do that. You know, when Andre Harrell was managing me and he told me, I want to make you the queen of the ghetto, the queen of hip hop soul. I said, oh, hell no. No, that's not me. And if I ever thought what had to come along with that for me, oh, I definitely would have been like, hell no. Because, you know, I don't get high. You know, I drank, but I wasn't like no cocaine person or a weed person. I smoke weed and I got paranoid and just like, take me to the hospital. So that ain't me. You know, that life just wasn't me. You know what I mean? Like I was the one at the parties that would tell my friends, okay, y'all got an hour in here. Make your way around or we go in the VIP, we do whatever and we out. You know, I knew when to say no and to get out. I didn't want to be, you know, yeah, I've been in at stuff that you know, it was shootouts with when I was with Teddy and them, you know, with Guy Blackstreet. We was at a Blackstreet party, shootout started there, another shootout. Like it was always a shootout. It was always a damn shootout. And so I mean, like I said, it's a dark part of this. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I mean, as I say, we'll wait. We'll wait and see. And as I said, it's definitely a sad thing, but we'll definitely wait and see what the outcome is.
You're being very diplomatic there, Nam.
Well, you know, I'll be honest because I worked briefly at Edmunds Entertainment, and while I was working there, I went to a number of parties. Just in that short time I was working there, I've seen Puff at parties, Mike Tyson, Faith Evans. I've seen all these people, Tracy Ellis Ross. All you just going to parties, but one of the things that I knew was happening was that if somebody approached me to say, do you want to make it to the next level, you almost don't have time to think. And I probably, and it was that probably the reason why I left and moved away, because it felt like the pressure to give, you know, to get the fame and to move. It wasn't hard work. It's nothing but hard work. It's about give and take.
Yep.
And I knew that that was the case. And so, I mean, I saw these people. I've seen, you know, Babyface, everyone going to these parties, and I know that if the opportunity was given, it'd be like, wow. So hence, I know that, man, I'm fortunate I got out before I was put in that situation. So then, for me, then knowing that I was very fortunate and blessed to be able to avoid all of that stuff. Then I'm like, I can imagine those who did were put on the spot and they had to make a decision, your career or success. I can just imagine, like, man, you know what, let me try this out. And so I can feel sorry for a lot of people. And yeah, and because I don't know all the stuff, so I don't, yeah, that's why I'm very, very much of a, yeah, you know, anyone would most people would do anything for success, and you won't go in thinking about that. But once you're put in the spot, because I said I was there, I was seeing all this stuff, and I knew that I was very vulnerable, just because I knew how much I wanted to be in the industry, and getting in there. And if they're saying, "Yep," I probably would have. I don't know. So yeah, so I'm fortunate I'm not in it, but I'm also very much uh, sympathetic to those who made the wrong decisions, because I think they didn't go in there with that intent, and yeah, so
I mean, I agree with you because you kind of are put on the spot. But again, at the same time, I do sympathize with some of the people that made the wrong decisions because I made the wrong decisions in my life. But again, you know these things before it comes, and they're gonna come. So you have a choice, and it's just how big you wanna, like you said, you'll move on to the next level, and it's just how much does this matter to you? You know what I mean? To be big. And I always said, for some reason, I used to tell my best friend all the time, I don't want to lose no family members, because I used to see people losing family members and then they would blow up. And I was like, what is that? And I used to say that. I'm not losing my family member to be famous. F that. No, no. And never knew what the hell I was talking about, but I would just say it, you know. So, and then I started to understand it later, really more so in the last couple of years, like since maybe 2019, when my eyes were open more um, to the darker part of the music industry. I'm like, wait a minute. Oh shoot! I'm glad I wasn't in that. You know, I could have easily been in that. You know, so it's. I just feel bad for everybody that's in it. I feel bad for Puff because even, you know, at the end of the day, all the stuff that he has done, he has a background from his childhood. You know, everybody has that background from their childhood that pushed them towards this. You know what I'm saying? So I feel bad for him on that part, on that level. You know.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, as I said, anyone we've spoken to, from Eddie F to Jimmy to even Rodney Jerk, anyone who talks about him from the musical genius, you know, from the guy
yes,
who just looked at everything and took things to another level. You know, most of them didn't go to the parties and stuff, so they saw the hardworking guy. They saw the guy who, when he left Uptown, the morale in Uptown was like, oh, we've lost our Michael Jordan kind of stuff, and the whole label went down while he blew up, and then hence Andre just moved up to Motown. Like, I forget, what have I just done? So people who saw that part of him
right.
talk about the genius side. Most of them weren't at the parties. Most of them didn't do that. They didn't go to that side because, you know, they didn't get to that level. You know, he was just blowing up and leaving them behind. So a lot of things have come out now. I mean, back in 2002, when I was at, you know, in the industry, I heard about all this stuff. So it's funny because the public are hearing about it, but if you're in the industry, you know, all that stuff was known. But yeah, but as I said, it's to me, as I said, it's no different from R. Kelly, no different when they did with Bill Cosby. It's the fact that these are giants of the black entertainment industry who've done so much to elevate the art and the culture, and unfortunately there's a side of them that seems to pull them back, and so we just wait and see.
I feel like it's a quarter of the industry about to fall off in the next 6 months because of this. Even half the industry, that these big names are all just going to come tumbling down. It's almost like a cliff edge at the moment.
I agree, Stevie. I agree.
Very concerning. Very concerning.
Yeah.
And I agree. I agree because, like I said, it's deeper and bigger than people know. And the one thing that Puff is very smart with, he got videos, and I think I really feel bad for our R&B and hip hop community because, we got robbed, in the industry. We got robbed. And all you got to do is think about the people that own the companies.
Mm-hmm.
The people that own these companies are the ones that are robbing, and they don't care. And if you piss them off, then all of a sudden you're crazy, or you set up. Now all your shit come out. Excuse my mouth, but all your stuff comes out. Like they didn't see you doing this before. They wasn't part of it. They weren't, telling you about these parties. This is what I'm saying. So it's gonna be a big mess for R&B and hip hop music. I really believe it's gonna be a big mess.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, the moment he took on D'Angelo about the Ciroc, and that got settled, then things turned around. The moment, I think the same time with Kanye talking about getting out of his record deal and exposing the whole industry stuff, then he became, things just changed for him. I think the same thing with R. Kelly not wanting to sell his publishing. So I'm not saying that they were innocent. It's just saying that everyone kind of enabled and knew what was going on. But you turn on them, it's like, oh, we're going to show you.
Right.
And then they start coming and they come after you. And either they silence you or they take what you thought, they're trying to say, who do you think you are? Like almost like the mafia kind of situation. So as you said, it's everything. I think I listened to Charlemagne saying about Michael Jackson became the most powerful person in the entertainment industry, where Sony paid $500 million just to get to merge with half of his publishing. He became that big, and then they took him out, and then they were able to get his publishing, but he owned half of Sony Publishing, which was the biggest in the world, and that became too powerful. And when he spoke about it, they came after him. And so there's a lot of things that we as fans from the outside we don't really see, but the people in the circle know what's going on and stuff. And so hence with this Puffy stuff, there's probably the fact it's come out now, it's not just coincidence. It's not just everything is like, okay, everything's time and stuff. So we wait and see. So
it's interesting you just mentioned Michael Jackson there, Nnamdi, because that nicely segues into our main theme tonight of he had a sister that was quite talented as well. Do you want to say who it is?
Yeah, there's some that actually think, and actually I heard Jimmy Jam say this. He said that this album, when Michael heard this, he thought this should have been the album he did. And actually he started to chase this sound and was never satisfied until he got it. And I thought that, to me, that was the sort of I won't say his downfall, but I thought his music suffered because he was trying to chase this type of album. He wanted the concept, the military stuff. He wanted the sound and the whole Rhythm Nation, whole vibe. And he started to move away from the R&B and that smooth part. But it could be interesting for you, Jackie, to give you, as an artist around the time when this album came out, what were your thoughts about the album? Because we're going to go through and rank what our top 10 favorite songs on the album. But what's your overall impression of Rhythm Nation 18? Is it 1894?
18,
18.
isn't it 1814? What is it? 1814, right?
Okay, yeah.
Is it 18? It's 1814.
1840, yeah.
When the 1814 album came out, the Rhythm Nation, Janet, I always, we looked at Janet as Michael's little baby sister, always, and what was the name of the album that came before this? That was the one with Control, right?
Yeah, that's probably
Right.
my favorite Janet album. Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like that was Janet's coming out, that whole coming out thing for her, not being Michael Jackson's baby little sister no more. Like, she's like, I'm growing up. I'm not the little chubby cheek little girl that y'all saw on television. Now I'm coming into my own. And I thought that Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis did a phenomenal job with her.
Mhm.
And when this Rhythm Nation album came out, bananas. And Chucky Booker was actually a musical director for on Rhythm Nation tour.
Mhm.
And I know he opened for her, and then he was, her musical director too. I thought that was brilliant. That was a brilliant move. But for Janet, I thought this was this is my growing up album. Like, she went from Control to Rhythm Nation, and it's like, I'm taking my stance. This is where I stand. This is where my power in the music comes from. I always thought that Terry Lewis and Jimmy Jam, who I love, good guys, really good guys. I really thought that they created, one of the best sounds for her. I know that you can hear a lot of their stuff, and you hear little stuff that might sound like a Janet song. You know what I mean? Because they had their flavor. Like, when you hear a Babyface song, it's Babyface, it's LA and Babyface.
Yeah.
Same thing with Terry and Jimmy. When you hear a song, it's Terry and Jimmy. Like, when you hear the Force MDs, what's the song? Tender Love.
Yeah.
That's Terry and Jimmy. And then when you go to some of Janet's ballads, you hear it. But I thought that they did a brilliant job on this Rhythm Nation record. And I thought this was her growing up album. But go ahead, y'all say what y'all got.
What about you, Stevie? What was your thoughts on Rhythm Nation? Hey, Hawk.
I felt like Jackie was saying there, Jam and Lewis, in terms of production on this album, they threw the absolute kitchen sink at it. In terms of the sound, the drums, the melodies. There were sounds in this album that I'd never heard before on anything. That's how far ahead this album was. I felt it was up there with Teddy Riley's work, if not better. I even feel this is it's a better album than MJ Dangerous. I felt, for me, Michael Jackson's Dangerous was half an album. That's controversial saying that, but in terms of the way this album segued from start to finish, the themes, it's just an incredible listen. I seen the Rhythm Nation tour at Birmingham I think it was 1990. She came over. In fact, she was in the UK this week, just gone. She's just been in the UK. She's doing the the Together Again tour, is it? I can't remember the name of the tour, but people were saying, where are you going to go? Where are you going to go to the gig? And I had a few things on my mind thinking, well, I seen her at a peak. And I want that memory to last. Also, the ticket prices these days to go to a gig. I'm like, £77 to sit in the stands and see a little.
It costs $100.
Over $100 just to sit right high up in there. That was weighing on my mind as well. And I thought, she's 58 years of age now. Can she get on that stage? I'm struggling at 50 with my back. She can get on stage and dance. But you know what? All credit to her, because I've seen I didn't go, but I've seen some of the footage on YouTube. Some great footage. And for her to get in a corset at 58, get herself on that stage and jump up and down and move, and bless her, absolutely, you know, because I've seen both these. If you go on YouTube now, there's the Tokyo Dome 1990 gig in its entirety there when she's at her peak, and she's bounding up and down the stage, her energy, and she's singing live. She sounds incredible.
Yeah.
And in the past, I've kind of like made references to her not being a good singer. I kind of take I'm taking that back now. To do what she does on stage at 58 years of age is incredible.
Yeah.
And that's why she's one of the best. That's why I look back to that time period now and I think, why did some of them female singers not make it like Janet did? I mean, you could say Janet had the family name and she had a big budget behind her, but you've got to go out there and take that on stage.
Well, you know, you think Ruby and Latoya were in the family. They didn't. Even Jermaine didn't blow up like Janet. So she worked. She had the talent.
She worked hard.
She took it to another level.
Yeah, she definitely did. I mean,
she worked. She did. She worked hard, like you said, Nappy. She worked hard. I worked with Ruby, and on some music that was supposed to come out that Angie Stone and them ended up using because it was a record that Angie Stone wrote. It seems you're much too busy for me. I did that with Ruby.
wow.
And it never came out with Ruby. I vocal coached her through it, and I did backgrounds on it. Me and my friend John James.
So there's an unreleased version of that song by Rebby Jackson with you on it.
What'd you say, Stevie?
Did you say there's an unreleased version of Seems? What was the song?
No, they never released it. They paid me to vocal coach her in the studio, and then I sung the backgrounds. Me and another friend of mine, but it was never released. I think she was signed to Motown. I think at the time.
Was that the one, Vertical Hold? Yeah, Derek just Vertical Hold. Yeah,
Vertical Hold. So with Janet, I think Janet did work extra hard. And like you said, Stevie, because I saw her, I was on stage when I was singing with Toto. She was in I think it was Amsterdam or Rotterdam. We were in one of them, and Janet was the night before us, and I was singing with Toto then. So I called Chucky and I was like, "Oh, I want to go to the show. I want to see Janet." So he called Renee, and Renee took us on stage. We watched it. Me and my girlfriend Jenny that sung with Toto. We watched the show from the stage. Janet killed it. And yes, Stevie, she's slower, a little slower now at 58, because I will be 58 this month, most high willing, the end of this month. So hell yeah, we get slow, because I'm like you, the back, everything start aching and whatever. So when I see her, and I know how bananas she was when she was younger, and we were the same age, and I remember how bananas I was, but she had way more stamina, even though vocally, Janet might not have been the best vocalist. You know, she's not no Mahalia Jackson, no Aretha Franklin, no none of that. But she was Janet, and she carried what she did the best way she could, and she's still doing it. So I give her like all the credit. Janet is like one of my favorites. You know, she's definitely. I've seen her live maybe 3 times, and that's my girl.
Formula for a Janet record, and I put Madonna into this as well. It's like you fuse pop, you fuse funk, and you fuse dance, like a dance groove. You put that all into one record. You've got Janet Jackson. That is her formula. That is what works so well, and you've got it on the Control album, and you've got it on this Rhythm Nation album as well, which we will get into track by track.
Yeah,
I felt that was her formula that worked so well. You know, the pop groove. I it works so well for. I love it.
Yeah. Unlike you guys, I never liked this album. It was no, I didn't like the drumming, the whole military stuff. It was just, it wasn't as soft and Yeah, I mean, I remember Janet on Good Times. Was it Good Times or Different Strokes? Was
Yeah,
it Different Strokes?
good times,
Yeah, Good Times and Different Strokes. Yeah,
and I think she was on Different Strokes a couple of times. Yeah,
yeah, she was there with Todd Bridges. Yeah, so and I love Control. I love that element. But when this album came out, I couldn't, because when I interviewed Chucky and he talked about the tour and how the effect, and I saw the Janet documentary, and I realized the album had such an impact on the community. People loved the fact that it was talking about injustice and stuff. So I didn't understand that part of it. I just didn't like the hard edge, the kind of drums and the hard edge of the album. I tend to like a little softer type of stuff. So I never really appreciated it, and actually it was probably my least favorite that she's ever put out. So it was a challenge to find there's 12 songs with the interlude, 12 songs, and so there were 2 or 3 that I was like, yep, I love these songs, and the rest I'm like, okay, I think I like this less than this, and I just managed to squeeze things around. Nothing taken away from Janet, because I think, as I mentioned, she is the pressure of being Michael's little sister and to have her own identity and to hold it down, for this long, is nothing but a miracle. Being the last born of the Jacksons, and her first 3 albums didn't really, when her dad did, didn't really do well, and until she made the decision to go with Jimmy and Terry and curve out an identity for herself. And I think probably maybe the Control album was probably not the Control, the Rhythm Nation album was one of the reasons probably why I kept forgetting how good Jimmy and Terry are, because every time I hear Jimmy and Terry, I'm thinking Janet, and I'm thinking Rhythm Nation, and I'm like, oh yeah, I don't really like what they did with Janet, and I forget about all the soulful stuff that they've been doing with SOS Band and Alexander O'Neal and countless others. So hence, this album always reminds me of, the part that I didn't like. But we're going to appreciate it. It's an iconic album. It was an iconic tour, and she deserves a lot of praise for what she's done. So my controversial statement is over. Well, there are 12 songs, Stevie, so we might as well just do 12 to 1. Because
I've only wrote down 10. I've left.
You left 2
10 to 1.
Okay. Well,
Did you manage to get 10 tracks wrote down, Jackie? I don't know if you've had time.
You know what? I was fighting. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna lie. I was fighting after the first. I think. Wait, let me see.
It's really difficult.
I was fighting after 8. The other 2, I was like, but the 8. I mean, even in that 8, I was like, by the time I got to 5, I was like, okay, wait, let me think about this. Yeah, I was fighting.
Yeah, that means you guys also agree with me.
Well, I felt like some of the songs maybe shouldn't have been on there. I just felt like some of the songs didn't necessarily fit. Escapade was definitely not a Rhythm Nation type of song. You know what I'm saying?
Hold that thought, Jackie. Hold that. Let's start number 10, and you can explain.
Okay.
Okay, what's number 10 for you, Stevie?
Number 10 is one of the ballads. It took right at the end of the album. It features Herb Alpert on trombone, or is it trumpet? And it's like a follow-up to, because she appeared on Herb Alpert's 1987 album with a track called Making Love in the Rain. So this is like a follow-up to it. It's called Some Days Tonight. And it's one of Janet's whispery 6-minute ballads. She always drops one of these whispery ballads on her albums. So I'm starting with Some Days Tonight, which is a very whispery, late night, quiet storm ballad. Good track. Okay. I did like the track, but it's at number 10 for me.
Okay. Yeah, that was number 11 for me. So it was number 11. Derek said I miss you much at number 10. Yeah, my number 10 was I didn't like her ballads, but number 10 was Lonely. I thought it was okay. I just just put me to sleep, but it was
Wow.
it was number 10. As I said, I struggled. I think there was three songs that I know that okay, these were cool, but yet Lonely was at the bottom. I mean,
At
for
least
yourself,
it's top 10. At least it's in there.
it's in there. Yes, it's in there. What about you, Jack? I mean, if you had your 10th least favorite, 10th favorite song on the album, what would that number 10 be?
The two songs that y'all said didn't even make it for me.
Wow. Wow.
No, wait, that's a lie. That's a lie. I take that back. One of them did. My number 10 song for that album was The Skin Game. That was number 10 for me.
The Skin Game. Which one?
That was, hold on a minute. That was a B-side of Come Back to Me. We know you can use it because you left it off the album. You did leave it off the album.
What?
It was a B-side.
What? Can we use it?
Yeah, we can use that. It wasn't called
Oh man, I was trying. I was reaching.
Oh, you dig deep there. I mean,
Yeah, well, okay.
I was reaching. I was like, okay.
wow.
Oh goodness, yeah. Damon says 7 top 5 Billboard hits. Now, the album had some tracks. Okay, Steve, what's your number 9?
Again, just a good evening to everyone there's a load of comments down here that some viewers won't be able to see, but thank you all for tuning in tonight. Big shout to anybody who's watching, listening. Number 9, again, it's another ballad. What was that? What was a big ballad on the Control album? Because again, it's kind of a follow-up to that. Let's wait a while.
Let's wait a while.
Yeah. I felt like again, this was like a follow-up to it. Come Back to Me is at number 9, which was a single. I think they released like 7 or 8 singles off this album, and that was one of the singles. It's a good track. It's a very good track.
Yeah.
It's number 9 for me.
Yeah, that was
nice
also
guitar in it as well. A very nice, really good guitar part in it. That classic Jam and Lewis melody that you get on a lot of the ballads that they did over the years for Alexander O'Neal, and it's all there. It's got it all there.
Yeah, that was number 9 for me. Come Back to Me. Yeah, I mean, it was funny because I'm listening to this album and there's some elements of Johnny Gill. Love You the Right Way, Rubs You the Right Way.
Yes.
Some New Edition type of vibe going on in there. So Come Back to Me was, I listened, I think this could have been Ralph singing this. But yeah, that was number 9 for me.
Wow, y'all.
I thought it'd been higher that for you, Nandi.
That's mean.
I thought it'd been higher for you, Nandi.
No.
Right. Me too. Okay, my number 9 was is Lonely.
Wow.
That's my number 9.
You two don't rate that track at all, then.
Yeah, I mean, it was sleepy.
Some of them just don't move. They just didn't move me like that. You know what I mean? I can't explain it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's fun. Yeah. I can understand. As I said, I had number 10, so I can understand.
yeah, I had it 9.
Stevie, number 8 for you.
Number 8, how did you describe it before? This album was too kind of. The best word I can describe this track is industrial, and it's the title track of the album, Rhythm Nation. I do like the track, but the others I like much more better. It's quite. I think I have to be in a certain mood to listen to it. It samples Sly and the Family Stone. It's got one of their big funk samples running through it, but I do like the track. I mean, it's a great video, the uniform and everything, and she's stomping around doing all their moves. But it's quite high up for me. So Rhythm Nation's at number 8. Very industrial.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, Stevie. I'm surprised. Wow. Okay.
Surprised myself. It's that high up. I'll be honest, I surprised myself. But I love
Yeah.
the track. Don't get me wrong. Number 8 don't mean I don't like it. I'd say from 8 to 1 now, any of these tracks would have been number 1. I rate all from 8 to 1 now. They're all my favourite tracks from this album.
That's very interesting because when I look at my number 8, I left it out. Then I thought, yeah, actually there are elements of it that I didn't mind. And Ribbon Nation was number 8 for me.
Wow.
Yeah. It was, I mean, because it was, the programming was, beats and drum, just hardcore and stuff. And I think it's a good video, the whole military stuff. But yeah, Derek even agreed with number 8, Ribbon Nation. It was a useful song, but it doesn't. I can't listen to it and really enjoy it. But I enjoyed the fact that it was a good video and it was a good launch album stuff. Yes. Okay, Jackie.
I expected it from you, Namdi. I expected that from you. I didn't expect that from Stevie. Because Stevie was like, it's a high album. So I'm like, wait, Stevie, you put that one down there, number 8. Okay. So number 8 for me would be what is it? State of the World. State of the World.
Wow.
State of the World was number 8 for me because I feel like that song is like how y'all feel about Rhythm Nation. That's what I felt for State of the World.
Okay.
Because I was like, okay, that would be.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay. Stevie, what goes number 7 for you?
I'm just double checking the credits on the CD of this album. Hopefully it's here somewhere. And it's got on this the track that I picked. At what number are we on?
Number 7.
Right.
7. Right. Yeah. It's got It says Finger Snaps. They didn't use his vocal in it. They used his finger. Johnny Gill on Finger Snaps.
Oh my gosh. What the heck? That's how you just get money. That's how you just make money for no reason. You got Johnny Gill on Finger Snaps.
He must have been in the studio he must have walked in the studio that afternoon, seen a recording, and thought,
right,
I'll probably jump on this with me.
Right.
Bit of
But how do you get credit for that?
But
because you can,
it's one of the fun tracks, one of the real fun, happy tracks. I love it. It's Escapade.
Wow.
Good
Stevie.
Okay.
Fun, poppy. I love the video as well. I think they're at a fairground, aren't they, in the video? And it's a fairground, and she's got a nice outfit on, and it's a very happy, feel-good pop track.
But Jackie, how do you get paid to snapping your fingers when anyone could have just gone in there and done that? And Janet could have done it herself.
Because Jam and Lewis can put down whatever they want, and you put it in. You put it in for AFTRA and SAG, and you get paid through AFTRA and SAG, FM after SAG, and he get paid. They can put it that they giving him triple scale for coming in and doing finger snaps, and he get paid triple scale. That's freaking amazing, Stevie. I never knew that Johnny Gill did damn finger snaps on Escapade.
To the credits. I've dug my CD out, which I haven't dug it out for about 20 years.
Well, I think we are all entitled to some cash because we've been popping out there going fingers for a long time. We are entitled to a piece of somebody's damn record.
He don't have any sound backgrounds. He just slapped his fingers, man. That's
right.
Wow. Maybe they were thanking him for giving him for Motown, for getting Motown to pay them for doing the Johnny Gill album, because they did a big chunk of that album. So they probably would give him just like, thanks for hooking us up.
Looking out.
Yeah. So,
right. Thanks for looking out.
Yeah. Okay. Finger snaps. Okay. So my number 7 was Living in a World. I didn't mind this. In fact, it did sound like a New Edition track as well. And I like the message behind it as well. So this one, This one I could dig. Living in the World. That was my number 7.
I felt that was very close to being a Michael Jackson track.
Yeah, I mean it was, but I think it was better than the Heal the World. Probably not nowhere near like Man in the Mirror, but that's her version of that type of stuff, which wasn't too bad. Derek, you need to be red carded with that number 7. Goodness. Okay, all right at number 7. He needs to be red carded. Yeah, Jackie, what about you? What was your number 7?
My number 7 is The Knowledge.
Wow.
Okay, wow.
Wow.
Goodness.
Well, the song that you just said, Namdi, I don't even remember that song. I'm like, what song was that? Oh my gosh.
You had little kids in the back. It was that kind of, yeah. It was yeah. She was talking about living in the world and all the injustice and stuff. Okay, The Knowledge. Wow. I think we're going the opposite with Jackie, but The Knowledge. Okay. Stevie, what's your number 6?
Number 6. This was more of like a mid-tempo, but it had again a lot of classic Jam and Lewis melody changes. Again, I love this record, and I'm like, it's killing me to be at number 6. Love Will Never Do Without You.
Okay.
Wow.
Very
We both said.
but strong, very strong record, I thought at the time. Love will never do. Again, that's the Janet Jackson that I know. It's got all the elements of what I saw the Janet Jackson record with. So again, it's another fun record. So yeah. Number 6 could have been higher. Number 6.
So my number 6, and I would say that my number 6 sounds like my number 5, sounds like my number 4. It felt as if what they did is like, we've got this drum loop, and we're just gonna sing this song. Okay, let's use the same drum loop. Sing this song. Yep, let's use the same. It just felt like, wait a minute, there was hardly any difference. So Miss You Much is my number 6, but it sounds no different from Escapade. Sounds no different from Level Note. It was almost felt like the same drum beats. They just changed some of the melodies. It felt as if they just kept this drum loop and let's just sing. Let's see how many songs we can create with this. And when you finish, we'll use some of the remnants to do Rob You the Right Way. That was
No, you're right. You're right.
So Love Miss You Much was I listened to it and I'm thinking it sounds just the same, but you know it was no different than Escapade. It was the same type of vibe and stuff. So Miss You Much was my number 6.
Wow. Wow.
I disagree, but carry on, Jackie.
Yeah, what's your number 6, Jackie?
My number 6 is Escapade.
Okay. I mean, I think they're no different with all the tracks because there was no different. I mean, how do you separate Escapade and Love? I Miss You Much and Love No? It felt like the same.
Well, Escapade, first of all, I love the fact that Heavy D was rapping on it.
No. Was it on Escapade?
That wasn't Escapade? Am I tripping?
No.
Wait. No, Escapade is, oh shoot. Now I'm messing up songs. I'm mixing them up. Wait. Escapade. That he was on All Right. I'm tripping.
Escapade's the one with Johnny Gill with the finger snaps on it.
Right. No, Escapade was the one, like you said, it's happy. It's like being in a on the fairground. No, I love that. I love that. I think the video got it for me more. When we see the visual of anything.
Was it in black and white? I think.
No.
No.
Rhythm Nation was in black and white.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Escapade was very colorful.
Yes.
Okay.
It was very colorful.
It's like going to a fair on a Saturday night. On a Saturday night, you go to the fair. It's like that.
Right.
Okay.
And I think that's what got it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved. Yeah, I was trying to throw Heavy D in there. Sorry, Hev. Yeah, no. Escapade, to me, Escapade was just fun. So that's my number 6 because I just liked it. It was fun.
Okay. Stevie, what's your number 5?
I think this is where we get into the more, for me, the more New Jack element production of the album from Jam and Lewis. Jackie commented that she didn't know what this song came from, but it's more about the production on this track than the song. The knowledge, I thought the production was amazing on it. The funk,
Yeah, me too.
You know, it's a good chance for Janet to do a dancing, because it's always that segment of a tour or a gig where she puts a good dance routine together. And yeah, this was probably the track for it for me. So the knowledge, like the Pleasure Principle from the Control album, where she does that big dance routine behind the groove.
Yeah.
This was the one. So for me, number 5, the knowledge, solid number 5.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a good number 5.
Okay. Yeah. My number 5, as I said, is no different from my number 6, and it's Love Will Never Do Without You. It just felt like the same type of
We're going
beats
10
and
to
stuff.
1. 10 to 1 to Damien.
Yeah. So my number 5 was Love Will Never Do Without You, which is, as I said, was no. I just felt it was the same type of stuff, but
It was different, Namdi. Trust me.
I can still hear. Yeah.
That's my song too, though.
So that was my number. Yeah. So that was my number 5.
Okay, so my number 5 is the one I messed up. So my number 5 is All Right.
Wow.
And All Right, because I loved Escapade, but All Right to me, you know, because I knew Heavy, I worked with Heavy D, and we were on the road together, everything. So me seeing him doing that with Janet, I just felt that it linked hip hop again to not just a New Jack sound, a New Jack swing sound, but the Jam and Lewis sound. You know, that the Minneapolis sound. So I just thought that fit, you know, very well together. I thought that was hot when it came out. You know, even if it didn't have a video, because Heavy was on it. You know. And
Yeah. I mean, you also think, I mean, how, as you said, the whole thing that Jimmy and Terry were saying, and Michael was so wish he had done it. I mean, is that the reason why he got Heavy on Jam? It's like, man, let me try and steal some of that vibe that he gave Janet. I mean, yeah, you know, that he got on.
You got you. That's a question, right? We wish Mike was alive, and we can ask him. We can ask him, because that. You're right. Maybe that's why Michael, you know, tried to do a lot of the stuff but that wasn't a sound for him. You know what I mean? That was Janet's sound. You know?
It was, yeah. Because I wasn't a big fan. I have to be careful as I'm saying. History, the album, I wasn't a big fan of History, because he went with Jimmy and Terry, tried to get that sound, and it just didn't scream. It just didn't fit. And Teddy ran away, because what happens with Mike, you spend 2.5 years giving him songs, and then he just picks 3 or 4, and then you can't produce anyone else. So I think, who was it? Rodney was saying that, the reason when Michael came back to do History, Teddy says, sorry, I'm doing Blackstreet. I can't just sit down and start making tracks. And so, that's why he wasn't on History, because Blackstreet, he was doing the Blackstreet stuff. So anyway. Stevie, what number we are? Because
number 4 now.
Number 4, okay.
All right, mate. Number 4 for me. Believe it or not.
Wow,
it was an epic video. It was a cinema-esque. I suppose it was like Michael Jackson's "Remember the Time" moment. This was Janet's moment in All Right. But it's a great record. It could have been number 1.
If it was number 2, I can understand if it could be number 1. But when it's number 5, that doesn't make sense.
It's a number 4. It's a number 4. Listen, it's probably, for me, there's 3 new, really outstanding New Jack type records on this album, and that is one of them. You know.
Wow.
I love the remixes as well. I think the remixes took it to a bit of a a bit of a higher level as well. The remixes were really good, but
Yeah, they were.
it's a great record.
So both Damien and Big Mike went to see Janet in Birmingham, and they said both of them went to see Janet in Birmingham, and says went to see Janet. The show and production was amazing.
Wow.
Janet truly deserves her flowers.
She certainly does.
And Damien was there too. Can you just imagine? I mean, goodness. Yeah, I mean, it would have been. I guess if you've never seen her, it would have probably been good to be able to see. Okay, so you guys have
Right.
Okay. Yes, yeah. Rest in peace, Frankie Beverly. My number 4 was Escapade. So this was, yeah. I've just been seeing the videos. So
Yeah,
as
man.
much as the videos were different, the videos were different and stuff like that. But it's still, it was very hard. As I said, I put the 3 tracks together because they were very similar to me, and it was just the tops of the coin. Which did I prefer most of it? And I think the Escapade was a little like Liberian Girl type of it's a little element of that. So Escapade number 4. Not much to say about it.
Oh wow.
I think
Wow.
my top 3 are I think okay, this is it. So yeah, these were like if I had to rate songs, I'll just put them here and there. So that was number 4 for me. What's your 4, Jackie?
I don't know, Stevie. I'm scared of these number 1, 2, and 3. I'm terrified because I'm like, well, what could be your number? You didn't even like the record. We want to know. My number 4 is "Come Back to Me."
Yeah, it's
Okay.
deserved to be there. It's just, like I say, it's a really good record.
I loved that ballad for Janet.
Okay.
I love that ballad. I loved it. I thought, you know, I've always been a Janet fan, like I said, and Janet might not be the greatest singer, but you know, even like a Keith Sweat, they know what to do with their voices, with what they do. And I like when she sings in her whisper voice, and I like when she, her whisper voice, and I don't know, she just that song does it for me. I like that song a lot.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. It's anytime, any place. It was like a precursor to that.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Okay. Stevie, number 3 for you.
Number 3, this was the final single that was released off the album. It was released in the US and Japan only, and it's just a personal memory for me. Some of the singles that released in the US, they came, and I always say this on the show, they came out as like promotional CD singles, like there's no covers on them,
Right.
and it'll say on the back, I've got a few of yours, Jackie. I've got Skeezer
Wow.
somewhere to find it, but it always says on the back, promotional only, not for resale. And I found I
Right.
get to this record store one morning on a Saturday morning, and there's this box on the floor in the corner, and it was just packed with like US CD singles. And I said to the guy behind the counter, I said, "How much are these?" And he went, "Well, we just want to get rid of them. You can have them for £1 each." And in that box was Janet Jackson's "State of the World," which is at number 3, and it had about 10 remixes on it. And like you
Oh
say,
wow.
it's worth a lot of money now. It's worth $50 plus as
Wow.
a CD single. So I was just so lucky to find it. And again, it's for me, this is like the real hardcore New Jack groove on the album "State of the World." Proper, real, solid New Jack groove. I always loved the record. So number three for me.
Okay.
Okay.
It seems as if Stevie and I were onto something because that makes my number 3 as well. I think.
Oh
of all the-
wow.
yeah. It was a nice little New Jack sort of track, and I appreciate it. It was sounded different than the other 3 that I mentioned: Escapade, Miss You Much, and Love Will Never Do. But this felt like. This felt like, oh man, look at what Teddy's doing. We need to do our own version of New Jack kind of thing. And State of the World was their version of it. So yeah, that was my number 3. Liked it. Yeah. What about you, Jackie? Your number 3.
My number 3 is Miss You Much.
Yes, yes.
That's my number 3.
Okay. I think it's
And
the
I know,
lyrics.
wait, Stevie was saying something about, or was it you, Nambi, that was saying Miss You Much remind you of, who was saying it reminded them of another record? Which one was it?
No, I just mentioned how Escapade, Miss You Much, and Love Will Never Do. I just felt the drumming, programming were all very similar. Just the lyrics changed.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with, I agree with you on that. But, you know, Miss You Much for like girls, you know, growing up in the hoods all over. Not just in the United States, hoods everywhere. You know, that whole you know, that was like it was almost like what do you call it? 'Cause, you know, people caught on to that. So the little girls would be doing that. You know, the whole "I miss you much" thing. You know, we didn't have IG and none of that then. So you would see the girls do it outside. In the areas that were you know, not, of course, not the high end areas, the what they call the hood areas. But you know, that's my people, so I'm the hood girl too. You know, so that was a hood girl song. Hey, miss
Miss
you
You
much.
Much.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's number 3 for Jackie. Okay, down to the final 2. Stevie, number 2.
This will probably come as a shock to anyone that's watching. It was number 1 this for me, but I've moved it to number 2. This record sometimes it reduces to a blubbering rep. I'm not going to go into reasons why, but I think it's very underrated, this track, and I think you both should listen to it again sometimes. But Lonely's at number 2.
Wow! Wow!
I think it's in the past when we've done Jam and Lewis, we talked. They have a certain feel, 80s feel of the tracks, like Human League, Human, and there's a Johnny Gill track called "Giving My All to You." It's the soulful element, and I felt they got the 808 drum groove growing, and they got them soulful melody, key changes going through. It's what she's singing about as well. It's very personal, and I'm not going to go into it, but it should have been my number 1. But I'd rather end this on a high note than something that makes me. But it does kill me. It absolutely kills me when I listen to that record.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Well, Lonely puts me to sleep. Yeah, that's a bedtime. That's a.
One
I
of
mean,
the underrated tracks.
yeah. I mean, I'd sooner hear. What's our dude?
See, look at what's coming. People agree with me.
Lonely number 1, Lonely number 2.
I'm not far off.
What's our dude? David Foster would probably have done a better job on that track. You know.
Oh, wow!
With Lonely. My number 2 is it's probably one of the most funky tracks on the album. It's The Knowledge. Doom, doom. So this is Jam and Lewis on his bass and the whole drumming. I just love the Knowledge. It was like, okay, this is different. It was the drummings were right in the right order and stuff, and it just felt like if you had performed it with the time, it would have been like, okay, this fits. So I really love The Knowledge. Yeah, that makes my number 2.
Wow! Stevie and I both are quiet. Like what? Wow, that's a different number two. Okay.
Yeah, the knowledge. So Jeremy was saying, Jackie, that Love My Jackie CDs and remixes. She was doing house in the early 90s when artists were afraid of going there.
What, doing house music?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, because I got something on one of them records. With one of my records is the house sounding song. Thank you to whoever that is. Thank you.
Jeremy.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, love. So y'all waiting for my number two?
Your number two, yes.
My number two is Rhythm Nation.
Wow, got that.
Big record. It's a big record, you know.
That's my number two because I thought that at the time. So you know, you got your little, people that's into goth. Then you got your people that's into steampunk. Then you got your people that's into whatever. And when she came with that record, it was a very, very military.
Mm.
I thought like Black Hitler,
Mm.
but a female. And I was like, but not the bad part of Hitler.
Was there a good side to Hitler?
You know what?
I guess like a Black
I'll
Panther type of
Let's
thing.
move on from there. You don't have to answer that one, Jackie.
No, I know what I would say to that one is the same way it's a story behind Puffy, it's a story behind Hitler too. But we're gonna leave that alone because y'all know I'm controversial. Y'all already know that. So that's my number two. Rhythm Nation.
Strong, it's a strong choice.
When that song came out in the album, what was the reaction in the States? How did people see, was there controversy when she came out and what she was singing about? Did people appreciate it? Because I'm just
they did.
Okay.
No, they did because she was like bigotry, the whatever, she's saying all stuff, and everybody was like, really at that point, it was like people wanted to be that liberal part. People wanted to come out. They wanted to be whatever they want to be, So you're like, oh, somebody's speaking on our behalf, The one part I can say that I wouldn't say I agree with. I don't agree with we can do whatever the hell we want to do. I do not agree with that. But I love the fact that it came off very Black military, sister, almost like a Black Panther movement.
Yeah.
I felt that, and that's why I liked Rhythm Nation so much. And then of course I saw her perform it like I don't know how many times live. And she killed it. So every time she did the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I was like, okay. I'm done. They were killing it every time. So yeah, that's my number two.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Marco, no, I love David Foster. Stevie doesn't like David Foster.
Really?
Yeah, I think David
No,
Foster.
We have a little running joke about David Foster on the show. We have a running joke about it. One day he'll probably come on. He'll probably come on the show.
Yeah. So Jackie, before we go to our number one, we normally do we go from 10 down to 1. So Stevie, before you do your number one, what's your number? What do you want to go recap your 10 down to 9? And then
Well, I will say that Black Cat didn't make it for me. It was like it was Janet Jackson's rock record, and in a live tour gig, it sounds amazing, but I didn't kind of like that on the album. But anyway, from 10 to 2, 10 was Somebody's Tonight. Number 9 was Come Back to Me. Number 8 was Rhythm Nation. Why is Rhythm Nation number 8? Number 7 is Escapade. Number 6 is Love Will Never Do Without You. Number 5 was The Knowledge. Number 4 was All Right. Number 3 was State of the World. Number 2 was Lonely. And number 1, as I said at the start of this, when we was getting into the Janet Jackson segue, I said Janet's winning formula is a mix of pop, funk, and dance groove. I'm not saying this is the best track on the album, but I just have great memories of this record. It was the lead-off single from the album. I'll never forget the day I went in the record store and the 12-inch was on the racks, and I grabbed it off the racks and thought, buying this. I remember the video. There's a key change in the chorus. When it comes, it kills me. It kills me every time when I listen to the track. It's just my personal favourite. I'm not saying it's not the best track, but Miss You Much is my number one
Wow.
album.
Wow.
You know, it makes me feel great when I hear it, and it's just a good pop funk groove record that I think Janet does really well. It's number one for me.
Okay, I didn't realize that was the lead single because I thought the River Nation was the first single. That's what I thought. Yeah, so it's interesting that they went from there and switched it. Maybe it was the deal with the record label. You come out with something.
It was a good from Control over to Rhythm Nation. This was
right.
You cross from one perfect record to cross from one album to the other. You know?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Black Cat was but the least favorite on the album. Out of 12 songs, it was number 12, and Someday Is Tonight was number 11. Number 10 was Lonely. My number 9 was Come Back to Me. Number 8 was Rhythm Nation. Number 7 was Living in a World. 6 was Miss You Much. 5 was Love Will Never Do Without You. Number 4 was Escapade. Number 3 was State of the World. Number 2 was The Knowledge. And my number 1 is, this song was so good that when they put it on the album, they thought, man, we don't even want to stop recording this track. We're just going to keep playing it. You'd think it was actually an extended remake because that was how good the album was. It was so funky that they were like, man, let's just keep going. Let's not stop. And yes, the video and then also the feature with Heavy was amazing. But if you just listen to it's 6.5 minutes on the album, it just shows you how much they love the track that they just kept playing it and try to let's just extend this. I just love All Right. You know, at first when I saw Heavy on it, because I remember I'd moved to Nigeria when I saw that, I thought, oh, this is the new Teddy stuff because Heavy and Teddy was all the stuff. But I just loved All Right. I loved the Heavy part, the diddly dee, the overweight MC, you know, and he did a little dance stuff, and then they did the dance. But it was just, as I say, if you listen to the album itself, you're like, they didn't even need a remix or an extended remix because that was the single on the album, 6.5 minutes, or just continuously and just going on, and so that's one of my favorite Janet, Jimmy, and Terry productions, and that's when they came and said, yeah, you know, Terry, we know how to do this stuff. So All Right is my number 10.
Wow.
Top 10 that now. It's good top 10 from you, that Namdi. Very good.
That's what you did better than we thought. For you not to like it. You did better than we thought. Okay. We see you, Namdi. Okay, so we going to mine.
Yeah.
Okay, let me put my glasses on for this. So my number 10 was The Skin Game. Lonely was my number 9. 8 was The State of the World. 7 was The Knowledge. 6 was Escapade. 5 was All Right. 4 was Come Back to Me. 3 was Miss You Much. 2 was Rhythm Nation. And my number 1 is what both of you guys hated. And that's Black Cat.
Wow.
That's my number 1.
She's done a Sheldon on us. She's done a Sheldon on us now.
That was my number 1. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I thought that Black Cat was the whole record was phenomenal to me. I love rock, as y'all know. So that bang, 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 bang. I was like, yes! Screaming through the whole thing when I first heard it. But it's not even that. It was the fact that they took Janet somewhere else that she don't normally go.
Mhm.
That's what made it the #1 song for me, for her, because that wasn't a Janet thing. You know, Janet, that's, you know, Miss Dancing and whatever. But when she did Black Cat, I was like, I'm done. That's my joint right there. So that's my #1.
Wow. Okay. I
I was like,
actually, I mean,
wow,
it
yes.
looks as if
I did
it
not see
won.
that one coming.
No, I didn't see that going. It's
I was like, oof.
yeah, and I actually didn't think that, yeah, it's good the fact that you actually took your time, thought through it, and actually, you know, came out with that. Um, I I don't know why I didn't like it. I think maybe because um, it didn't feel as, when you think of, say, Dirty Diana, or Michael's Given to Me, it was rock, but it wasn't as hard. He still kept it, you know, even when he did Come Together, he still was able to just control his voice. I felt the track overpowered Janet. I think he just overpowered her. That's probably why I didn't think she was in control of the track. It felt loud and heavy, and I didn't think she could control it. Like when Michael did it, he controlled the
You
track.
controlled it more, yeah.
You felt like, okay, it's Michael singing, and the track was there. So that was just my. But you know, it's risky for her.
Yeah.
D-Hawk was saying
I
he loved
felt
the
he
video.
had stayed when she was putting a tour together. That would have been, it's a stadium type record. It'll sound great in a stadium. A big rock record. Rock was so big at the time back then, 80s.
Yeah.
So big that you play that at a stadium, it's going to go down big time.
Go crazy, right? Crazy.
Understand?
I mean, like I said, I thought it was different for her to try to do, because for her vocal ability, but for me, she pulled it off, and that was just my favorite joint on the album. Just one of my favorite joints.
Bettencourt of Extreme played guitar. Wow.
Ooh.
So he did have a rock guitarist on. Fair play to him. That makes sense, and he's on A&M as well. That makes a lot of sense.
That's what he said.
You know what, Jackie? You're gonna have to, for I don't know, when you get a bit of time, pick one of your favorite albums from the New Jack era, and we'll do a top 10 on it. If you've not done it already, that is, because we have done a lot already.
Right, because y'all did a lot already. Right. So I'm like, we got to figure out what album y'all didn't do yet.
They get a list of 5 albums together. If we've not, and we'll try and pick the ones we haven't done. And we'll have to get you back on. You know,
well, have y'all done any Keith Sweat albums?
We haven't done the second one or the third one.
We haven't done Make It Last Forever.
But that's Sheldon's favourite. So
yeah. So we have to wait till yeah. So we haven't done Make It Last Forever.
Okay.
Make It Last Forever is probably my it is what I think it is my favorite album, more so than the Bobby album. It's number one than Bobby's too.
I love the second Keith Sweat album. I think it's amazing. So underrated.
No, yeah, but Make It Last Forever is
Make It Last Forever was definitely the best album to me.
Yeah.
Because I felt like Teddy and Keith killed that album.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the second album was a good album because, you know, that was Keith and Bobby Wooten, and I worked with Bobby Wooten as well. So, and Keith with some other people, but I thought that the first album was
and that's as I said, you know, Teddy. Yeah, so I mean, I listened to that back front. I didn't realize that. So it was "Don't Stop Your Love." Was that the first thing you guys worked on the album?
Don't Stop Your Love.
And then you went and got Teddy to do the rail. Because Teddy, did he do anything on that "Don't Stop Your Love," or did he come in after that was made, or what?
You know what? To be honest, I don't remember.
Because he's only credited for doing additional keyboards and additional drums. So it wasn't all the other 7 songs he did, but he was producer and Keith wrote the lyrics. But Don't Stop Your Love, he was only credited for doing additional production and drumming. So I do wonder if
No, but I was there when Teddy was working on Don't Stop Your Love. I wasn't there when who did Don't Stop Your Love? It said, does it say Fred McFarlane or who does it say? Don't Stop Your Love.
No, it's a Teddy track, isn't it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
I thought Don't Stop Your Love. I mean,
no, it
I
wasn't.
thought Don't Stop Your Love was
It wasn't. It wasn't Teddy. It was. I'll look at it here. But Teddy comes in to do. He comes in to do additional. So let me see credits. It was Keith Sweat, and it was Freddie McFarlane and
Fred McFarlane. Yeah,
they do drumming, and then keyboards was Fred McFarlane and Teddy.
okay.
But all the
So
other tracks,
I was
Teddy
there.
did keyboards and production.
Yeah, I was there when Teddy came to play on Don't Stop Your Love. And what's crazy is I knew Fred McFarlane very well and never knew that Fred McFarlane was even on that song. Like, I never read credits to nothing. I never knew that Fred McFarlane was on that song. That's why I was like, was Fred McFarlane, did he write some of that? Because when I did my vocals, Teddy was there.
Okay.
So I always thought that it was Teddy and Keith. I didn't even know that Fred McFarlane was
Here's one, Jack.
on that one.
Here's what I've just thought about that you featured on, and I know you know the guy as well, and I'd love to get him on the podcast. Free Men Touch.
Oh, that's my boo. That's my baby. That's my brother.
The album.
Yeah.
Get him on to do that album.
Yeah. Oh no, y'all got him. All I gotta do is hit him up. He'll come on there with y'all. Yeah, y'all would love Free and Eric are some good dudes. That's my brothers. I love them. You know, they I think they were bigger overseas than they were in the States.
Who are these? Who's this?
In Touch.
In Touch.
In Touch. Okay.
Yeah, I think they were bigger over there than they were here. But their songs did really good here. Yeah, I'll put y'all with them. Okay. We're free.
Yeah.
Eric doesn't do a lot much. Okay. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I think what happened with Don't Stop Your Love, I think they started it and it didn't test well. And they probably got Teddy to do the remix of it. And probably who called you to do the background on Don't Stop Your Love? Was it Keith?
That's when I first came. It was Keith, because when I first came into the studio, when Keith told me he was working on a record, and he asked me to come to the studio. When I finally got to the studio, it was Don't Stop Your Love that we were working on, and Teddy was there. So I was like, "What you doing here?" He's like, "What you doing here?" Because I knew Teddy because we used to have a band. So I'm like, "Oh snap, we about to work together," So I didn't know that anything came before that, before Teddy doing what he did. I always thought, and then of course when we finished the album and the record was out, when we started doing shows, Teddy was with us. Teddy was on the road with us doing shows.
Okay.
For 2 minutes.
Because Omar Chandler, he was the one that sang. Is it Joy and Pain?
Joy and Pain.
Okay.
And Omar used to be in the band that Teddy and all of us had together. Me and Omar Chandler were the lead singers for the band.
Did he come out with anything before he passed away?
I don't think so. And I don't know if Teddy was working on something with him or not, because that's Teddy's family, because he has a son with Teddy's sister.
Okay.
So yeah, and I know Teddy kept up with Omar more than I did,
Okay.
And then he ended up dying. I think he got murdered.
Wow.
So yeah, that was my Omar Chandler. That was my boy.
Wow.
That was my dude.
And I guess finally, was Johnny Kemp, because apart from Just Got Paid, I mean, we didn't really him. Did he? I mean, Steve, do you have anything else that he came out with?
He did a track in the mid-80s called "He Was Just Another Lover," which was an amazing, like boogie disco.
Another, yeah, he
Amazing
did. I love that song too. Yep. I think Johnny's album, they didn't push Johnny's album enough. You know, when Johnny came out, because I've been knowing Johnny's Uncle Johnny to me. I've been knowing him since I was 12 years old.
Wow.
And when I started singing, when I was 17, going on 18, when I moved back to New York, I started working with Johnny in the band, you know, that I was in at that time. Johnny was the lead singer for that too. So he helped me a lot. And I just felt like they didn't do Johnny's, you know, album. They didn't, because he had a song called Just Like Flying on his album. Beautiful song. Beautiful song. And I thought that song would have did really well. But they just didn't push his album the way they should have.
Even after massive global, because Just Got Paid was big in Nigeria, it's good, big around the world, and I thought, okay, yeah, but it feels like it was a one-hit wonder because you had that one global hit, and then we didn't see anything that followed through.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what they do, you know, and it's sad that a lot of us get caught in that, you know. Sometimes people be cruel to me if I say something they don't like, and they'll go, "Oh, she's just a one-hit wonder," and I'm like, "Oh no, I got a lot of hits. Let me help you count." I'm like, "Oh no, don't get it twisted." I'm like, I'm on "Don't Stop Your Love." That was a #1 record. I'm like, I'm gonna make it last. I'm on, you know, I'll go down the list, and then I tell them, "Oh, and a double platinum record was Salt and Pepper." Salt and Pepper's album, the Black Magic album, wasn't even. That album only went gold, but the single did better than the album did. Expressions was Salt and Pepper's first #1 record on the Billboard chart, on the Billboard hip hop charts. That was the first time ever getting a #1, and it stayed #1 for 8 weeks. So we hung in there for 2 months. #1.
Wow.
I let them have that. I was out on the road with Toto. I was like, okay, I did my job. I'm out. And I went out with Toto. So yeah. But you know,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Say what you're saying. No, go ahead. Go ahead, man.
I was gonna say that it would never be fair if you did a top 10 one-hit wonders, because you know because because it would be, because people might perceive one-hit wonders like a Johnny Kemp or Mark Morrison, you know, like, okay, they had this one big hit and then disappeared, but we just don't, you know. But then it does the service, because if they have follow-up singles that did well but didn't really, I mean, because it wouldn't be their fault, wouldn't just be their fault. Labels,
no,
you know.
It is, and I mean, like, that's like Junior, that did Mama Used to Say. That was my dude. Like, we were friends. I haven't seen him in years, but you know, we became friends back in the day, and that was my joint. Like, that was fire. I don't know how well he did overseas, but you know, Mama Used to Say was really the only one that really blew up. I think he had a few more that people liked. But I think it's unfair. I mean, we could do a show. we could, and then of course, I'm
out there who've never had a one hit. You've not even had one hit. There's plenty of artists out there who've never even will never experience ever having a hit. You know,
right? And
great records, make some great albums, but nothing hits. You know.
That's right. You're right, Stevie. You're right. So that's what I tell people too. You know, when people say, "Oh, that's just a one-hit wonder," well, they got a hit.
Yeah, you got a hit.
How many #1s? Right. You be like, how many #1s can you say you had? But you know, so I never get offended when people say what they say to me, because I'm like, How many songs you have? And that song is still playing today, like it came out yesterday, and it came out in 1988. So you can't ask for anything better. You know what I mean?
Mm,
With music, and it's even with Johnny Kemp. You know, that's such an iconic record.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. And I think, you know, I always go back to the Teddy Guest versus Bobby Babyface versus, and he didn't even play "Make It Last Forever." You know, yeah.
he didn't. I didn't even pay any attention. I thought
Well,
he did.
he started off with Jay Z, City's Mine. He did SWV Right Here remake, not Human Nature remake. He did Foxy Brown. He did Janet, I Get So Lonely. He did remakes, and Babyface was even teasing him. I thought that was a Jimmy and Terry record and stuff. And he played Deep by Blackstreet. It was like he could have, if he had just done Just Got Paid, if he had done, you know, I Wanna, if he just hit those big tracks like that, Babyface would have just been scrambling with ballads and people would have just laughed it off. But yeah,
Yep.
it was a mistake. River Mandel was actually doing. Um, does Jackie like gospel? Because there's a young lady that sings "I Am God" by Donna. Donna Lawrence reminds me of Jackie. I don't know if you know any.
Do I like gospel?
Yeah,
I
they
love
mentioned
gospel music.
there's a young lady that sings "I Am God" by Donna.
By Donald Lawrence.
Yeah, have you heard? Okay, yeah, she said that just yeah.
Wow. I know I don't know. I don't know the song. But I love gospel. And I do of course know who Donald Lawrence is.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, you know, Jackie, we have to appreciate the fact that you took time out of your day to
Oh
help us with
no.
this with this album
Oh, we do
today.
appreciate that, Jackie. We do really appreciate that.
Oh no. Anytime if Nambi sends me anything and he says, "Can you do it?" I'm gonna figure out a way to do it. And he knows I'm always in my car. But when he said it's me and Stevie, I was like, "Oh hell yeah, I'm in. But the countdown thing, I was like, "Okay, oh my, let me get myself together on countdown," because y'all know the background of music more than I do. I don't, I'm not a credit reader. Like,
Yeah,
I
but
don't read
Jackie,
the credits. I don't know.
it was there. You were in the industry there at the time,
Yeah,
so you
yeah,
got your
yeah.
own
Yeah,
perspective.
Your time was yeah, it's different. I mean, for us, we were just buying a record. You were just standing on stage, watching her perform, and the whole stuff with Chucky, and
it was, it
yeah.
was,
So it's a different thing just
it was
to see
different.
from that point of view and stuff, and even as an artist, appreciating Janet, how different that could have been like.
I love Janet. I still love Janet to this day. If anybody talk bad about my Janet, I go in because I am a Janet fan. I don't worship people, but Janet's up there with my girls, with my Tina Turner, and my um the lead singer for the group Mother's Finest, Joyce Kennedy. She's one of my favorites, and Shaka. And Janet is just up there for me. She she proved herself to stand the test of time. So she earned her flowers. When these little young girls out here, they want to booty dance and they dropping it, twerking. I'm like, what the hell is that? That's nothing. Janet is up there like, they're like, oh my gosh, she's not that's Janet Jackson. She's old, but she tearing that damn stage up. She's dancing around that stage at 58 years old, like she's 35. So I fight for my Janet. I fight for her.
Yeah, and I don't know if she still gets the credit. I mean, they start, because people's memories are short. They think about, okay, I look at Beyonce, but they're thinking, well, when Janet was at her prime, she was doing things. She was competing against, she wasn't compared to other females. She was competing against the males out there. It wasn't like, okay,
Right.
she was, when Madonna was at her prime, people weren't just saying, "Oh, she's great as a female artist." They were like, "She's one of the biggest artists around." So
Right.
nowadays, yeah, people don't understand and appreciate how hard it is to sell 15, 20 million albums. Right?
That's right.
They use the streaming stuff like it's free music, and I'm listening to it. I just watch a 10-second video and I'm listening to the track. Back then, you had to buy the album. You had to go to the store. Here's my $17, and that's
That's
for
right.
Michael Jackson to sell 100 million albums worldwide. I remember in Nigeria we bought the album, the tape. And we played it, and when it broke, we went back and bought a new one. I mean, that's how
Right.
artists today just do streaming. You can't put those numbers up and count them as anything. It's
And those, they don't. I didn't mean to cut you off, Namdi, but they don't. Their music is nothing like these classic albums that were put out. You know what I mean? Like, they're not putting out classic albums.
No.
They're not putting stuff out that we want to play it like 10 years from now and say, "Oh, that was hot."
Yeah.
Half of it we're gonna be like, "What the hell? What happened?" So
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to take from any of them, but I just think it's just a whole clown show right now with music. It's who can twerk the best, and the lyrics is trash, and I don't care. I go up against any of them. I'm like, yeah, what? Yeah, I'm hood, dude. Yes, what? But I'm just saying, like, they don't have any classic anything, So you got to go back to the classic, people that putting stuff out that's good music, like, Layla Hathaway and what's my girl? I love her voice. Not Vivian. I love Vivian Green, but I can see her face, but Vivian Green's name popped in my head. But it's she had this song Feeling. I think she got a Grammy for it. She was heavy set and she lost weight and she's like really cute. You pick dun, 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 feeling. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know the words to nobody's song.
Okay,
Oh
it's
gosh,
not
what's her
Jasmine
name?
Sawyer. It's not Jasmine
Yes,
Sullivan. Okay.
yes, Jasmine.
Okay.
I love her. What's my other girl? I was just talking about her yesterday. Oh my gosh, I'm going blank. That's the 58 part of me. But it's a lot, we still have artists, and even the male artists, we still have artists that are good and that are doing things and have great music. But the thing is, we don't have record labels. The record labels don't.
They've just been. I don't know if you guys have heard that Warner Brothers has just laid off almost a third of their staff, and a lot of labels are doing the same. They're dropping artists because they're realizing it's just not worth investing in all of this. So
It's a real shame. It's a real shame that.
well, because they were chasing trends,
Yeah.
and that actually they realized that actually, and they were trying to catch kids who just use this TikTok stuff, and they weren't investing in artist development and real proper projects.
That's right.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I'm listening to albums from the '90s from start to finish because that's classic. But
Right.
what's her name? Beyonce came out with Cowboy Carter. I mean, I don't know how many people are keep listening to the tracks because once you're done with it, it's like, okay, it's like I've used it now. Next, what's next? What's next? And I think those classic albums were about this is it, appreciate it and enjoy it and feast on it. Yeah, they're not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the record labels are going to fold. And I think it's going to have to go back to where we put out music and people just want to go buy it. You know what I mean? We have to go back because where else are we going? Where we going? If once you lose the record labels and labels shrink down to like nothing, and it's like, okay, there's still money in music, but we got to turn down a different avenue.
Mhm.
And I think we need to go back to, even if we have to go back to CDs, and it's like, okay, bring the CD player back, bring the CDs back, have them out of your car, have them in your car when you're doing gigs and whatever else, or they can pay to download it like they do, but it's nothing like having a CD or album,
Mhm.
in your hand. So something that you can, remember, you can look back at, like you and Stevie do a lot. You look at a lot of the credits, a lot of the credits.
Stevie's on
And
another level. I mean, he goes out and still buys vinyls. Like he just
Get this ball, it's new, it's
he just
brand
put a
new.
vinyl. This is a compilation album that just
New
came
Jill
out.
Swing out last week, double vinyl CD compilation.
wow.
Podcast made for this podcast. There's the Good Girls there. It's got a young SWV on the back cover.
So what songs on the
Wow.
album? What songs on the album?
A lot of the Good Girls, Your Sweetness, Jasmine Guy, Try Me, Jade, Don't Walk Away, Pebbles, Giving You the Benefit,
Oh,
Karen White, The Way You Love Me, SWV, I'm So Into
Wow.
You. So there's a load of hits on here and some other bits that not as well known, like Mickey Howard's on here, Ain't Nothing in the
Wow.
World.
My girl.
Yeah, Shanice, I Want to Give It to You. Keisha Jackson.
Okay, Shani.
Keisha Jackson's on as well, so it's a really good
Okay.
compilation.
And see, that's the stuff that we need, though.
In the
need
UK
that.
loves the UK music market loves compilations. They sell a lot
Right.
of compilations in the UK.
Okay.
That's probably why it's been put out here. I've got to give a big shout to one of the viewers, Mike. He emailed me to tell me that New York Undercover from that series that was running in the mid-90s, New York Undercover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my show.
If you're from the UK, it's streaming on Channel 5, My 5 until December. I didn't know that. 26 episodes. Thanks for telling
Oh, wow.
me, Mike. And thanks for watching our podcast.
Yeah. Okay. That was
Yeah, that's it.
yeah. Beautiful. They had a beautiful soundtrack and stuff.
Yeah.
The Uptown soundtrack. I always forgot to ask Damien when they recorded "Tell Me What You Like." Were they actually planning to come back? So that would have been interesting just to find out. But anyway,
And like
so
I say, Jack, have a think about some of your favorite albums, and we will do one of them.
yes, we will do that, Jackie. So, guys, it has been it's been an amazing show. I think this is episode 45, and we're grateful to have Jackie join us today. I think we're meeting up with the guys from NGS4 in a couple of weeks, but we will look to come back, Jackie. I mean, definitely we'll be able to get you back once you give us a few albums that we can count down. So
I will.
we will do Make It Last Forever when Sheldon comes, because that's his all-time favorite album, and so we have to make sure he's around for that. But we may think of a concept album that we can talk about, and that'll definitely be great. But for Rhythm Nation, 17 million albums sold, one of the biggest debut tours ever. 7 tracks on the top 5 Billboard. It set records. It did amazing things. It curved the lane that for her. And as much as I didn't like the album, I still appreciate Janet for what she did and her success. I mean, she became a global icon after this. And we can't take anything from her. And as you said, at 58, she's still tearing up stages across the world.
Right.
And we've got two of our guys here who went to see her just a few days ago, and they still say she's really representing. So that's testament to Janet for what she's done. So yeah. Anyway, any final words, Stevie?
My final thoughts of the evening are to Jackie and to all the viewers. I miss you much. And good evening.
That's a good one, Stevie. Good one, Stevie. I just wanted to say thank you to you, Namdi, and Stevie, because you're always giving me love, showing me love, and you always make me feel like I'm not a one-hit wonder. So I appreciate
Definitely
that.
Definitely not.
I appreciate that. And anytime y'all need me, you already know. Just hit me up. I'm there.
Oh, definitely.
Most high willing. Yes.
Okay.